My name is Emily, and I wish to share with you a story of my life before and after the death of my dad. 6 months ago, I was anxious, depressed, full of grief, and scratching myself to pieces. If you had told me that today I'd be standing on a stage telling you how amazing my life is, I would have thought you were crazy. Growing up, I did not have an easy childhood, as I did not really have a relationship with my mum or my sisters. My dad was the one person who protected me, kept me safe, supported, and encouraged me. I felt like I was an outsider, but it was never that obvious, as Dad balanced it out. He was the one person who loved and accepted me for who I was and not for who they wanted me to be. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression and put onto meds. They were working until 5 years ago, when my dad died suddenly of a heart attack. And I believe that death can either destroy a family or bring a family together. And in my case, it destroyed my family, and it certainly destroyed me. I felt abandoned by the one person who loved and protected me. And I was really angry with God for taking my dad away. And I started to doubt my relationship with God. There were days where I could not function, as I could not get out of bed. My meds became stronger. My relationship with my family became non-existent. And I did not know how to express myself. So I learned how to take it out of myself by scratching and self-medicating on top of the prescribed meds. And I often wish that I had died instead of my dad. With lots of prayer from friends and an amazing home cell group, my relationship with God has improved tremendously. And one night at church, they mentioned that they were starting a grief share course. And I felt the Lord telling me that I needed to be there. During one of our sessions, my grief share counselor pushed me to breaking point. And it was a good thing, as he made me realize that I needed help. After a session, we got chatting, and he agreed to help me. We've been working together for the past 3 months, and in that time, we've dealt with Dad's death, my relationship with my family, my anxiety and depression, and my addictions of scratching and self-medicating. With loads of prayer and by the grace of God, I can honestly say that I now have a relationship with my family, which has lifted a huge weight off my shoulders. And we've come up with loads of coping tools to put into place, like knitting, spending time at church, reading my Bible, praying, and listening to praise and worship, instead of taking it out on myself. I'm happy to say that I've been scratch-free and self-medicated free for the past 2 months. I've also decided that I no longer need my meds to help me cope, and my doctor has reduced them drastically. It's one of the best decisions that I've made, as I can see things more clearly, but most of all, I've become more reliant on God to help me cope instead of relying on myself. I believe that Dad's death happened for a reason, and in a sense, he needed to die in order for me to be independent, to having a relationship with my family, and for me to be off my meds. For if he was still alive, I would not be where I am today. I would like to encourage you that if you're going through anything similar to what I've spoken to you about, you are not alone, and there is help available, and trust me, it works. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story of turning mourning into joy with you.